So see now, the purpose of him pushing out with those Marines, the sole purpose of that was just to buy himself time to get those turrets up, and I think Silver played right in his hands. He should have ignored those Marines and gone straight for the base, because the C would have been forced to pull those Marines back anyway, and he would have been able to do much more damage to C's economy. But C's in a little bit of trouble here because he's lost a lot of his medic and Marines. He's only got a single fire bat and a couple of medics left there. I'm sure he has more in his ramp, but he's lost most of them, and Silver is doing significant damage to C's forces. However, the most important thing here to note is the fact that Silver only went for a 2 hatchery build. So because Silver went for a 2 hatchery build, he doesn't have the economic advantage that he would have, and so therefore killing those Marines that he has would not swing the game as much in his favor as it otherwise should. And this game might yet turn on its head. It might still go to CC. I don't think is at that any sort of a huge disadvantage here at this point in time, and he's just bunkering up now. He's just shoring up his defenses because he knows that Silver's only gone for a 2 hatchery build, having scouted that with his SCV. And so Silver, if he doesn't break this with his Mutiling, is going to be blind. Silver going in now, and C's got a lot of forces up on that ramp that he's going to bring down, and he successfully defends. So he successfully defends. All the Zerglings get taken out. Silver's forced to retreat with his Mutalisk, and this game now, I feel C's got a huge advantage, and Silver, unfortunately, his strategy, in my opinion, going for that 2 hatch build didn't pay off. And also, I think the critical juncture was the fact when and Silver now continued to try and harass, takes out that turret. He's continuing to try and harass C's base here, but I think the critical juncture in the game was the point when, and Silver now is among C's main supply line. He's killed a couple of SCVs. I don't think C will mind that too much. He does have a turret behind there, and I don't think he'll mind losing that. Silver is doing a good job of keeping C busy, keeping C's forces busy, but it's just buying himself a little bit of time. I don't think C will mind too much losing a few units. Silver's Mutalisk micro is amazing. He's doing some great Mutalisk micro, but I'm not sure how he's going to recover the economic deficit that he does have, because 2 command centers versus 2 hatcheries is just not good. He's continuing to pump out those Mutalisks, and I wonder if he's put up a 3rd hatchery yet, if he's expended the resources. C now sending that SCV down to scout again. C has done a good job of scouting consistently, and Silver again using the maneuverability to his advantage, but C has repaired that turret. Silver trying to take down that turret with Zergling. C has spent a lot on that turret, and C knows that he can bunker down because he knows he's getting the economic advantage. He knows he's pulling ahead, and those 3 turrets there at the back just making it very difficult for Silver to do anything. And Silver trying to pick those turrets off. He's managed to pick one of them. I think he thought he picked the second one off because he stopped attacking it, which was a little bit of a mistake by him, but he's now taken all 3 of those turrets back, so he's now hurting that supply line. C doesn't have enough Marines to adequately defend both bases, but he is pumping Marines from his 3 racks. Again, it's just going to be interesting to see what Silver can do here. I'm surprised to see that he hasn't started to put up the 3rd hatchery, but I think Silver realizes this is pretty much do or die for him, and he is trying to, and I think the fact of the matter is that Silver knows that if he decides at this point in time, and Silver once again taking out those Marines, brilliant micro there, he's going to stop that bunker from moving, and Silver has effectively stopped C from mining that expansion, and that is great play by Silver. He's stopping C from mining that expo, and forced C to retreat there. He's taken out all the turrets, so he is causing C a lot of trouble with that Mutalisk harass. I did feel that C had a decisive advantage due to the fact that he had that command center up, and the fact that Silver has only been using 2 hatcheries, but I think Silver has done the right thing by sticking with 2 hatcheries and not going for the 3rd hatchery, because had he invested resources in a 3rd hatchery, that would have slowed down his Mutalisk production. But now Silver in a little bit of trouble because C has now only got 1 base to defend. Silver now focusing on that command center. C was building a Comsat station there, and Silver took it out. So Silver still with the 2 hatcheries, still not the 3rd hatchery, and this was the point I was making, that if Silver had gone for that 3rd hatchery to try and catch up economically, then he would have been neither here nor there. He would have been the dog of a washerman, you know, not belonging in the house and not belonging on the street, unfortunately. And because he's chosen to go for this strategy, because he chose to go for the 2 hatchery strategy, he has decided to commit himself to it, and I think that's the right thing to do, because the reality is that he was never going to be able to catch up economically, and had he gone for the 3rd hatchery, he would have only slowed himself down further in the game, and then not been able to harass us effectively, and then there would have been no chance for him. So at least this way he has slowed C down a lot, and it'll be interesting to see which of these 2 guys come on top. I still can't give a definitive advantage to Silver, because the fact of the matter is that he is still playing a 2 hatchery Zerg versus a turret, and now Silver going in with everything he's got. He's going in with a lot of Zerglings. I think C's got more than enough Marines on that ramp there, but those Zerglings are making some purchase. Silver using the Mutalisk, and C holds, so C's defense holds. The critical thing, of course, is that Silver has forced C to spend a lot of resources on turrets, and he stopped C from using that expansion, so C in a little bit of trouble here. He is forced back. His expansion has been lifted, and C now pumping from 3 racks. He has got that factory up, he's got that starport up as well. Once he's got science vessels out, it'll be much more difficult for Silver with their radiate, and I think that's what C is really waiting on now, to try and reclaim that. This would be the ideal opportunity, and Silver, C is putting up that science facility. This would be the ideal opportunity for Silver to put on that 3rd hatchery, but again, Silver continues to focus his resources on pumping out Mutalisks. That's why even though he's lost quite a few Mutalisks through his harass, he's been able to keep at C, and those 2 turrets well placed are keeping Silver out again off that mineral line. The problem for C, of course, he's almost mined out at his main. He doesn't have a lot of minerals left there, and his expo is still untaken, and Silver now finally building that third hatchery, but he's building that third hatchery in his main. And of course, Silver's minerals are going to last him a lot longer because he's been mining from that expo, whereas C has been prevented from mining from his expo by Silver, and Silver really controlling the game. And it's great to see a Zerg player not going for a cookie cutter build. Ever since Savior started dominating last season, every Zerg player has been going for 3 hatch builds, and every Terran player has been playing to counter that, but C has been doing something different here, and I think it's paying off for him thus far. Of course, should C ever get enough troops to just be able to barrel down and force his way down the middle into Silver's base, Silver's going to find himself in a great deal of trouble. I think he's going to have a huge amount of difficulty stopping any push, and Silver now getting that hard list up as well. And but he's done a great job of keeping C pinned back. He's done a great job of holding C's economy down, and really I'm very impressed by his play. C, unimpressive to my opinion. He's just not been able to cope, despite the fact that he had a lot of turrets, he had a lot of Marines. He's just not been able to cope with Silver's Mutila's harass, and that's not something that you expect of a top tier Terran player. I don't think that someone like Nada excuse me, who excellently deals with this, or even Boxer would succumb to this kind of Mutalisk harass. And once again, Silver now, he's amassed a large number of Mutalisks, and that Science Vessel is going to be the key here, because C has got that Science Vessel out. He doesn't have Irradiate yet, I think. He's building the Science Vessels forward. Maybe he does have Irradiate, but that Science Vessel is going to be the key to C in order to defend and to actually get that command center down. Once he gets Irradiate up, then Silver is going to have a much harder time, because Irradiate really hurts Mutalisks like nothing else, and I think Silver needs to commit himself with a couple of Scourges here to try and take that Science Vessel down. And C really on the back foot here, really got his back against the wall. He has got that extra command center, but it's useless to him, and the resources he expended on that and the fact that he slowed his production down hasn't helped him. And finally now, C moving out down, and this is going to leave his base vulnerable. He doesn't have enough troops to defend more, then C's going to be forced to retreat, and Silver once again picking off. He's got a large group of Mutalisks there, and Silver picking off that turret, and Silver controlling this game excellent. He's got full control of the game and full control of the map, and I'm just not sure what C can do here. Now Silver going with everything he's got, because that siege tank is out, and Silver in trouble here. He's committed all of his forces. Silver GG's, C wins. And it looked like C was on the back foot, but really, as I said, all C had to do was hold and wait for the siege tank and the Science Vessel. And as I said, once that push came coming down the middle, there was not much Silver was going to be able to drop it. So in the end, C's strategy still pays off, despite some excellent harass by Silver. GG, C takes the first game.